This is this is what I'm going to paint. This is what's called a grisaille. Normally I'm working from life at home in my studio. I do a light and dark. Because of time constraints, I did this at home, but I thought I would demonstrate to you how I arrived at this with a smaller one, and I probably won't put as much detail in it, but I'll show you how I did it. And then I will come back to this, and this will be what I'm going to hopefully complete today. I set up a small little still life with fruit over to the side. So I've got a small canvas. I'm going to mix a gray out of some of these colors, and hopefully you'll see what I mean when I say that I use that ultramarine blue a lot. So this is solvent. This will thin the paint out so that I can make this gray. Starts out as a black. Now that is ultramarine blue and burnt umber. Makes a very nice black. So I'm just mixing these together, and you can see that it's a nice black. I'm not putting any white in, but I'm putting more solvent on here on the palette so that I can make it nice and thin. Solvent is, it's a mineral spirit. It's called OMS. It has that means odor-free, odorless mineral spirits. It used to be turpentine, which has a horrible, horrible smell. And a lot of people are allergic to it, actually. It gives people headaches. But I don't know when they invented the odor-free, odorless, but it's certainly wonderful. And it's also what you use to clean the brushes. The reason I mix it in with the paint is to thin the paint down to the point where I'm not adding white at this point. I'm just, I want it to be a thin gray. And then this part will be darker. So this part will be thinner. So first I start with painting just the shapes. And I've got a tangerine and a bunch of grapes. Small bunch of grapes. So you can see on the canvas how gray this is. Painting the shapes of these grapes. Or an approximation. Now I'm going to put some darks in. Going over this part where the darks are a little more heavy. And I always use a little paper towel to sort of clean the brush off a little bit. There's a lot of dark here. This is shadow. Where I'm leaving it white, it's going to be where much of the color will be. Now I'm working on a white canvas, but a lot of times I like to pre-tone the canvas with the color so that it's not quite as bright. One thing that's interesting about still life, and one reason why I like it, is that you're creating your own universe. You choose things to put in it as you wish. Sometimes people will just like do a random scene with things that are on their counter or on their table or after they've unloaded the groceries. Some people will use a lot of pots and antique clay pots, that sort of thing. A lot of times it's good to have something meaningful in there, something that means something to you or makes a theme. The other still life has a wine glass in there, and it's kind of a theme of I'm going to sit down and relax and have a glass of wine and a little bit of fruit. And so other times I'll do a color theme. That one also has flowers, and the flowers are almost the main thing of the other one, and I'll show it to you in just a moment a little bit more. I'm pretty much finished with this. I hope you get the idea. One of the things about oil painting that is really splendid is that you can correct. If you've made a mistake, you can wipe it down completely even, or you can just paint over it. You can wait till it dries, or you can wipe it down and paint over it right then and there. So I just kind of softened the edge of the shadow. And these are actually grapes over in this section, but they're just about the same color. So there will be a line that distinguishes them and also distinguishes them from the shadow. I think I've got a little bit too much shadow right here, so I put some OMS on my brush. I'm going to try to wipe this out. So this will dry very quickly, actually, and I could go ahead and paint on it. But this is basically how I arrived at the grisaille for the larger painting that I'm going to demonstrate today.